homestand. Finish off this three-game set. Interleague baseball entering the stretch run. And the Marlins have played well, so have the Orioles. Both teams at 9-5 in interleague play. But the Fish have won the first two here. They've won 4 in a row, and they'd love to capture this one. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The Marlins and the Orioles. The Fish last night found a new closer, at least for the time being. Dan Meyer really helped the ball club out last night.
Just tremendous, his first ever career save, and I think we're going to see Freddie Gonzalez do that from game to game until he has somebody who he feels is going to take over that role. But it was a great opportunity for Dan Meyer, and he came through. All
right, let's go game to game through this homestand for the Marlins, because the Fish have played well. Of course, it started over the weekend with the Yankees in town.
Yeah, the Marlins have gone 4-1 on this homestand. The Yankees came to town, and as I talk, you can look at the numbers that they've produced during the homestand, and I thought 3 tremendous games, excitement, electricity in the crowds of over 35,000 every game. So I think that was a plus for the Marlins. And then the Orioles came to town, having just won 5 straight. They swept the Phillies in Philadelphia. The Marlins have hit 6 home runs on this homestand. They've gotten wins from J.J. Volstad, Nolasco, and don't forget the Hopper, the job he did coming out of the bullpen. So by doing that and playing well on this homestand, all of a sudden, look at that, the Fish are 2 games out behind the Philadelphia Phillies.
How about that? Okay, starting pitchers for tonight. The Marlins tonight going with the lefty, and they hope that Sean West has a bounce-back start. His last start maybe overwhelmed a little bit at the opener of the Yankee series.
You know, he's probably not going to admit that, but I think you're right, and I think he can bounce back. He has the stuff, and he's shown that. He pitched a terrific game against Randy Johnson and the San Francisco Giants. He's up against another lefty, a guy with a little bit more experience, a guy who a couple of years ago won 11 games for the Cubs, Rich Hill.
Left-handers on the mound, right-handers in both lineups. Last night, aggressive baseball, you bet. Emilio Bonifacio was off and running. We'll talk to Bo Porter when we return as the Marlins and the Orioles get set to finish the homestand.
And Roberts down on strikes. That's a good comeback for Sean West. Remember, he got behind 3-1 on the count and came back and struck out Brian Roberts. So one down, and Nick Markakis will bat, a left-hand hitter. Markakis batting .287. He's hit 8 home runs. He's knocked in 45. And he, too, a pretty good doubles hitter. We mentioned Roberts with 25. Markakis has hit 20 doubles. Markakis 1 for 8 in this series with a walk. The pitch, and he swings here and hits a ball down the opposite field line. Racing over and diving is Coghlan. Can't get to it. It bounces up against the wall, and there's another double for Markakis, number 21. So he went the other way with the pitch, and Coghlan, who was shaded toward left center for the left-hand batter, had to come back straight across the outfield and tried to make a diving catch, and the ball eluded him and then bounced off the Stanley sign out there near the American League scoreboard. So a runner at second for the Orioles, and Adam Jones to bat. Adam Jones has not had a good series. 0 for 6. Came in and pinch hit last night and flied out to center field. Out of the stretch, here comes the pitch, and Adam Jones takes low and a ball. Ty Wigginton would follow. Adam Jones, so in somewhat of a slump right now, but the overall number's pretty good. 307, 12 homers, 43 batted in. Strong, tall, right-hand batter. Right down on the end of the bat. Here's the pitch, and Jones swings with a buggy whip action, and he pops the ball up to the right side. Under it, Dan Uggla, just at the edge of the outfield grass. He's got it for out number 2, and that's all for Adam Jones. Ty Wigginton will come to the plate. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Florida Marlins LP and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Florida Marlins LP. 2 down, Markakis at second, Ty Wigginton up. Another right-handed bat in the lineup for Dave Tremblay against Sean West, the lefty. Wigginton at 261, takes the first pitch low and a ball. 5 homers, 20 batted in for this veteran. Good man to have on a ball club because he can play just about anywhere. West comes set and see if he looks back. He gives a quick look back at Markakis, and now the 1-0 pitch, and that's low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. We're talking about the American League East. Boston leads the East 5 games ahead of the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And then Tampa Bay, the Marlins' next opponent, 7 games back, and then Baltimore 12 behind. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch. Breaking ball. Caught the outside corner, strike 1, and 2-1 the count. Sean West's breaking ball is a slider. Sometimes when he really muscles up on it, it'll look like a cutter. Maybe it is a cross between a slider and a fastball. That pitch that sometimes looks like Sean has thrown a cutter. Here's the 2-1 pitch. A swing here and a high pop-up on the infield. Should get Sean out of any trouble. Uggla under this in the dirt portion to the right of the bag at second. Wigginton is out on the pop-up to Daniel. And that's all for the Orioles. They strand the runner. The Marlins are coming up on the Florida Marlins Radio Network.
What you hear is 2 people driving along in silence. Silence because Kane
Fish coming up. In this order, Chris Coghlan leads it off. Emilio Bonifacio, then Hanley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu, Dan Uggla. Ronnie Paulino gets to start with the lefty Rich Hill on the mound. Cody Ross is hot. BC's played well lately. Look at his average at 280, and Sean West hits ninth. Hello, Tommy.
Rich, I'm just glad you keep that cell phone bill paid up. It really worked right there. There's Rich Hill, the 29-year-old left-hander. He's only seen the Marlins one time. He pitched an inning out of the bullpen about 4 years ago when he was with Chicago. Soft tossing curveball, but his fastball, he can get it around 90, upper 80s, right around 90.
Coghlan leads it off. The Marlins have done well against lefties this year, 17-8 against lefty starters. That's the highest win total against lefties in the National League. Inside strike. John Hirschbeck calling balls and strikes. A good look at Rich Hill out of Milton, Massachusetts, a Michigan man. And a big lollipop curve.
There's that big slow hook.
You know, as I was calling the top of the first inning by my cell phone, and then when the pictures came back up, it dawned on me that that's where they get the phrase phoning it in. A swing and a miss by Hill, because
phoning it in is better than mailing it in.
Yes. Defensively, let's meet the Orioles.
Yeah, let's see how they set up. They're about middle of the pack as far as errors in the American League. Reimold, Jones, and Markakis. That's Nolan, Adam, and Nick. Melvin Moore and Andino on the left side. Brian Roberts, Wigginton on the right side. And Matt Wieters has caught all 3 games in this series.
Here is Bonifacio. Emilio had an adventurous spin around the bases last night. You've seen it many times. Runs the bunt and misses, and it's 0-1. While he was swiping second, and Matt Wieters' throw skipped into center. Of course, Bonifacio took third. You heard Bo Porter talking about the heads up by Bonifacio and coming all the way in to score.
And that's what Bo talked about. It's an instinctive play. It's not a play that a third base coach can wave you in and tell you to go. It's one of those instinctive plays. A runner sees the outfielder with the mistake, and instincts took over.
Rich Hill has a pair of strikeouts to open up this ball game. And so Hanley Ramirez comes up.
You know, you don't think of Rich Hill as a strikeout guy. But the year that he had for the Cubs in 07, 195 innings. He was 11-8 that year. 195 innings. He had 183 strikeouts.
Hanley's had a good series. He's driven in 6, had the grand slam in game 1. 2-run single got things started last night. And he's up to 42 RBIs, which leads all shortstops in the National League.
I'll tell you what, Hanley right now is number 5 in the National League in hits. He has 86 hits.
And you get a sense, Tommy, that if the picture in front of him, the 2 spot right now with Bonifacio, the leadoff spot with Coghlan, if the picture had been a little clearer, Hanley would have more RBIs. But if Rich Hill's going to do that all night, it's going to be a quick one.
Por KFC.
Quickly, the Orioles lineup looks this way. We've seen Roberts, Markakis, Jones, and Wigginton. We start up with Mora, Nolan Reimold, Matt Wieters, Robert Andino, and Rich Hill. And this is Melvin Mora, who fouls a pitch off from Sean West. Mora, the third baseman for the Orioles. 3 for 8 in the series. Last night, a couple of singles. And much like our production truck, he's had a power outage this year. Just a couple of home runs. Uggla fields that one.
How about a little Heineken defense? There's Coughlin, Cody Ross, and Brett Carroll. About Bonifacio and Hanley. Dan Uggla and Cantu, and behind the plate, Ronnie Paulino. Brought to you by Heineken.
Here is Nolan Reimold. I hope that you were with us for Marlins Live and heard Burke Badenhop essentially cajole and convince Nolan Reimold to sing the Bowling Green fight song. The Hopper's also doing the promos tonight. I don't know that he was able to get Reimold to join in with those.
That was a good job by Burke Badenhop, and he helped us learn a few things about Nolan Reimold.
Nolan Reimold was a great high school basketball player and defended LeBron James in high school, and apparently in a tight game held LeBron James to 20 points. Not sure if LeBron was in foul trouble or not, but Reimold, an all-around athlete.
And showed a nice swing there, taking that pitch the other way.
Here's Wieters now. This young switch-hitting catcher has looked good in this series with a hit in both games, including a home run from the other side of the plate. Sean West making start number 7. Drive to right. Carroll to the track, makes the catch, and he wheels and throws and overshoots the runway, but nice backup there by West. So there's 2 outs, and let's give Hopper his first shot at a promo.
Fans, time is running out for this year's All-Stars. Log on now to vote at Marlins.com and vote for Hanley Ramirez. The top vote getters in each league will be elected to start in this year's All-Star game. Online balloting ends on Thursday, July 2nd, so visit Marlins.com to help Hanley and your Marlins All-Star hopefuls.
You know what's impressive about that? Burke Badenhop did all of our promos tonight, and it took him 1 take.
We're going to start calling the Hopper one-take Hopper. Good job.
Marlins are hoping they don't need Hopper tonight for an extended period of time as Robert Andino climbs in. The hope is that Sean West can get him deep into the ball game. Again, the Marlins bullpen thin with experience, and with Reniel Pinto probably not available tonight, thin in numbers as well.
Well, we've talked about this homestand, and Burke Badenhop certainly played a key role in the first game of this series. Coming in, pitching the last 2 innings, picking up the win in the 7-6 win that went 12 innings. So he's bailed out Freddie a few times and the ball club, and picked up the win, and the Hopper right now is 5-2.
Andino hits the ball to center field, hits it pretty well. Ross loping back, Cody eyes it and squeezes it. We're scoreless. today. Toyota moving forward. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. By Dolphin Carpet and Tile, guaranteed lowest prices on quality flooring. And by Headquarter Toyota, where you'll feel like you bought from the factory. Conveniently located off the Palmetto and 57th Avenue.
Freddie Gonzalez looks on. He's going to have to see his offense make some adjustments to Rich Hill. Rich Hill in the first inning threw 10 pitches, 9 strikes, and had 5 swings and misses.
And his best pitch was the curveball.
And in doing so, he struck out the side. He's one of those pitchers who can elevate the fastball because he has that curveball. Good curveball. Another good one. 2 strikeouts with that. So all strikeouts coming on that hook.
Rich Hill misses low. Cantu stands in 3 for 10 on the series, 45 RBIs. The Marlins now with 4 players at 40 or more RBIs. Wigginton makes the catch. Our weather tonight, we've weathered the electrical storm. And Mikasuki brings you our weather. Come play our way. 88 degrees.
Beautiful night.
Rather warm. A peregrine falcon. We haven't seen the owl. You only bring the owl out when you need a W, because the owl is kind of like your slump buster.
Well, the Marlins looking to win 5 straight. They haven't done that since way back in April during their 11-1 run.
It's an intriguing night in baseball tonight. One of the intrigues is how will John Smoltz do tonight as he returns, and he's pitching in Washington and he's not pitching well. Uggla takes outside. 34 pitches for Smoltz in the first inning, gave up 4 runs.
Wow.
Three and 1.
Was not a good first inning for Andy Sonnenstein either. Tampa Bay gave up 4 runs to the Phillies.
Like I said the other day, the Phillies have petitioned the National League to play all of their games on the road.
It's incredible. Of course, the Rays did take care of the Phillies last night, thanks to Matt Garza. Oh, there's a good swing.
Uggla stayed on the breaking ball, drills it into center field.
Stayed back and thought up the middle. If he tries to pull this pitch, he doesn't have the same good result. I heard a great comparison. Actually, it came from Brett Carroll talking about Rich Hill. He said you'd have to think like Ted Lilly. Very similar. Left-hander, good over-the-top curveball, elevates his fastball. Is that a cumulus nimbus?
I'm still stuck on the peregrine falcon. Paulino. Well, one thing Ronnie Paulino has done, among other things this year, and done it well, is hit lefties. Paulino .313 against lefties. He's delivered some big hits as well. He's .367 with runners in scoring position, 11 of 30. So I think the Marlins got maybe even more than they expected when they acquired Ronnie Paulino.
Well, as we've talked about, it's been a nice combination with Ronnie Paulino and John Baker. And if you look around baseball, there just aren't a lot of solid catchers or duos of catchers. Yeah, you have the Molinas, you have Jorge Posada. Pudge is having an average year in Houston.
Hill misses, and it's 3-1.
Russell Martin is terrific for the Dodgers. So if you don't have that standout, it's nice to have a good combination.
Speaking of catchers, one catcher that's off to a slow start, Giovanni Soto. And today it was revealed that he tested positive for marijuana at this year's World Baseball Classic. Paulino drives that ball to right center, hits it deep. Jones has great range and runs it down. Almost looking like Andrew Jones instead of Adam Jones.
Yeah, gliding and very similar to the way Andrew Jones glides, but Adam Jones has good speed, a lot of grace out there, and caught up to that ball in a deep area. It was hit well by Ronnie Paulino.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form, even on my BlackBerry, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. If you just joined us, we had to call the top of the first on my cell phone. Both trucks lost power, both TV trucks, just before first pitch.
And you know the interesting thing about that is that I stayed updated listening to you on my iPhone.
Yeah, and even though we go our separate ways when it comes to technology, I've got a BlackBerry, you've got an iPhone, we still were able to pass the baton in the middle of that's, I think, unprecedented in terms of calling a game on a cell phone, being able to have two announcers at the same time. Cody Ross, big swing and a foul bat. Good homestand for Cody. His numbers continue to rise.
Yeah, good homestand and a terrific series. 5 for 9 in this series against the Orioles.
Uggla still at first with 2 down. By the way, Giovanni Soto will not be suspended. He did draw a 2-year ban from international competition because Major League Baseball does not have jurisdiction, so to speak, over international play.
That's kind of senseless because the WBC isn't for 4 years.
Well, just in case. 0-2 pitch. Ross hits it deep. Left field. Go ball. Gone. Cody Ross. Stay high.
Boy, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what pitch. He had a couple of good fastballs that he fouled back. Then he got a breaking ball from Hill. It was a mistake. It was up a little bit, but Cody reacted and absolutely crushed it. Number 13 on the year. Cody has 45 RBIs now. Well, Cody tied with Jorge Cantu for the club lead.
Here is Brett Carroll. Carroll getting the start in the 8th spot in right. And a big breaking ball misses outside. BC has been spectacular with his defense, and his bat has started to contribute. He has become a regular in the lineup against lefties. He takes up, and it's 3-0. Sean West is on deck. I'm not sure BC is going to get something right down the middle. Letter high, it's 3-1.
Great conversation when I was talking with Cody about that at bat last night, how he's just matured as a hitter, and how after he had that bad call last night, he came back and got a nice base hit to drive in a run. And he said, I probably wouldn't have done that early in my career.
He probably would have been ejected.
That's what you said. That's right, too. He'd have snapped, gotten thrown out of the game, and never would have gotten that opportunity.
That's kind of part of being a starter. So you look at the numbers. Remember, Hill threw just 10 pitches in the first inning. Is when you become part of the starting lineup, you realize, and especially as a center fielder and a good defensive one, how valuable you are in a ball game. especially without an Amezaga to plug in anywhere. A guy like Cody Ross late in the game, you can't afford to get ejected.
I think more and more players realize that, especially in this day and age of more pitchers in the bullpen, so fewer bench players. So if the guy gets thrown out, it puts a little pressure on the manager.
West swings and misses, but the Marlins are on the board, and they're there because Cowboy Cody rode this one right out of the park.
Be here for Family Sunday, July 5th, when we close out the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates at 1:10. The first 5,000 fans get a Marlins mini helmet radio courtesy of Geico. Plus, kids can run the bases and Diamond Dash after the game. Call 1-877-MARLINS or visit marlins.com. Marlins baseball, it's where you want to be.
Good stuff by the Hopper.
You know, as Hill stands in and sends a little bleeder in the left field, and it falls foul. You know how oftentimes you look at a player and you say to yourself, you know, that guy's going to be a manager someday. They say that about catchers or other guys in the game. Alex Cora is the guy people say, you know, I think he may manage someday. I think Hopper may be sitting in your chair someday. He may be doing what you do.
I think he just might, and he's off to a good start. You know, Hill had a pinch hit appearance the other night in that extra inning game. Lined the ball to left field. And most recently in his game, his last start in Philadelphia, he had an RBI single. So he swings the bat pretty well.
Oh, 2 West misses outside. Sean West looking for his 3rd big league win. And it's 1-2. Let me clarify one thing on the Giovanni Soto story, because as I scroll down to the bottom of it, Major League Baseball will treat this as a first-time positive test. He was tested positive for marijuana in the WBC. Since it's a first-time positive, there is no suspension. Players can be fined and are subject to medical review. Soto himself had been tested throughout his minor league career and had never tested positive for any substance.
You know, the Rookie of the Year from last year not having a good season this year.
Brett Carroll makes the catch. That ball carried pretty well out to right.
So there's an out in the third, and up to the top of the order, Brian Roberts. Boy, everybody in Boston figuring they'd just plug John Smoltz into the rotation and away they go. But Smoltz gives up 4 in the first inning. As well, the decision to place him at that point in the rotation, had they activated him a week previous, he might have faced his old team Atlanta twice. By the way, Smoltz has settled down. He did not give up a run in the second. Washington leads that game 4-0 in the third. Boston in D.C.
That's a good pitch, that last one from Sean West, changeup. He's gotten 7 outs and 5 have been in the air.
1-1 to Roberts. Roberts takes inside. Roberts, one of those rare birds, so to speak, who was a standout player at 2 major schools, North Carolina and South Carolina. His dad was a coach at North Carolina, got fired, and Roberts promptly transferred.
He's just been an outstanding player, period. Has a contract through 2013. That's what the Orioles think of him. You know, he's one of those rare guys that many clubs could use. He's a leadoff hitter. He's a very good leadoff hitter, a second baseman, and a switch hitter.
Yes.
So he just does a terrific job at his position and at the position he bats in the order.
And as the Marlins can attest, finding a leadoff hitter who has all the things that he has, really difficult to do.
Yeah, how many times over the offseason do you hear clubs talk about, we're seeking a leadoff hitter? Now, down the road, I don't think that's where Chris Coughlin's going to hit, but right now, he's doing a real nice job.
Roberts fouled that pitch off his foot, and he's not moving too well. Baltimore has fallen 7 under, but remember, they came into this series hot. They had won 5 in a row, and that was against the Mets and the Phillies.
Tell you what, the Mets are piecing it together pretty well. They won their game this afternoon against St. Louis.
Uggla on the run.
Of course, they had Johan Santana going. They won 3-2, but they've been piecing it together with a lot of guys hurt in that offense.
See, the Hopper didn't do this one, so 2-0. Marlins on top. Here it is, Tommy. Baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head. One spectacular night in the summer's biggest event. Fox brings you every moment of the 2009 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 14th from St. Louis.
And if you mess them up tonight, I'm calling for the bullpen. I called down for the Hopper.
Here's Markakis. He doubled in the first. If the Orioles can piece together a rotation, if they can develop some starters, they have a really good nucleus. And we've seen it in the first 2 nights. Markakis, Jones, Reimold, Wieters.
Even though Robert Andino's done a nice job, we have not seen, because he's on the disabled list, Cesar Astúriz, a Gold Glove shortstop. So they really feel good, Dave Tremblay, especially with that middle, with Wieters, Astúriz, and Roberts, and Adam Jones in center field.
Markakis aboard, and here is Jones.
They always talk about getting strong up the middle. That certainly is a strong point for the Orioles.
Jones, one of the key pieces in the Eric Bedard trade from Seattle. He and George Sherrill who is the closer for the Orioles, and the Marlins have stayed away from Sherrill in this series, which is good news. One, because the Orioles haven't been in a spot to close a game, and two, because Sherrill's good. He was an all-star last year.
Yeah, right now, George Sherrill, his last 18 innings, has an 0.50 ERA. If the Marlins can take a lead and win this game, they could do something pretty interesting. During this homestand, the 3-game series against the Yankees, they did not see Mariano Rivera, and they could go these 3 games and not see George Sherrill.
Jones takes down low, and it's 3-1.
Of course, you and I had a nice chat with Sean West last night as he sat down in the bullpen, took a break from charting one half inning.
You know, I saw him in the clubhouse today. Normally you don't talk to the starting pitcher. Line into center field. And Cody's there, makes the catch. Well, West had a smile on his face, and he looked at me and said, "How'd I do last night?" Just fine.
And JJ, misadventures have gone off the airways with the Kensing trade. We're looking for 2 guys to fill the spot. We've gotten some emails, and 2 guys who are interested. Well, one of them is right here. Chris Coughlin and Brett Carroll are both very excited about doing some kind of work. Maybe not the same idea as the misadventures of Logan and JJ, maybe similar. And they came up with a couple of names: the B&C show or the CC show. Well, maybe, guys, if you think, we could open up to the emailers on Tuesday night and come up with one that may be even better. What do you think?
Well, these 2 guys, Coughlin and Brett Carroll together, had a nice run when Coughlin was all mic'd up. And I think on Sunday, maybe we should just throw together their greatest hits, maybe an extended version.
Maybe like a pilot.
I think they have something planned. The synergy they showed and the humor back and forth. Remember Tommy, Mordecai, and Redmond had that.
Yeah.
Theater reviews or something.
Yeah.
I think one of them gave the other a jockstrap at the end of the year as a thank you present.
Yeah. Anybody with Redmond.
Signed. It was signed from Redmond.
Nice.
I think it was used.
But of course, 1-2, the count to Coughlin. Marlins up 2-0. I would think on that show, I mean, if the pilot got picked up, you would have to have special guest appearance by the Hopper, and this week a visit from maybe Alfredo Amezaga. Hill misses inside with a breaking ball.
Well, I think they'd be great together, so we'll see. I said if it's BC's show, isn't that just BC, Brett Carroll, and who gets the top billing? I guess Carroll has a little more stature.
Hey, as long as they get to the postseason, nobody cares.
and they get picked up.
Yeah.
After the summer pilot.
Syndication's where it's at.
That's where it's at.
You got to get to 100, and then 100 episodes, and then you're good.
Now they're always looking for the mid-season replacement shows.
Coughlin, what an at-bat. Fought off pitch after pitch, dumps it down the line, races into second, has himself a double.
8 pitches during that at-bat. And remember, he was fooled badly his first at-bat with the curveball. He kind of surmised things, summed it up, saw the curveball, took a couple of fastballs, got this breaking ball, and was able to take it down into the right field corner. That's a great at-bat by Chris Coughlin. Good approach, solid swing, and a good turn at first base. He knew double all the way.
All right, let's see if Bonifacio can move him up, whether by a ground ball or just a flat-out bunt. And that pitch misses inside to Bonifacio, who's a better hitter from this side of the plate. 320 from this side of the plate, but the really odd thing is that he now has 79 at-bats as a right-handed hitter. He's walked just once from this side of the plate. That one's going to trickle foul. Much less of a hitter from the other side of the plate, but better plate discipline from the other side of the plate. And I'm not really sure how to interpret that data. Because you would think if you're a better hitter from one side of the plate, you see the ball better from that side.
You know, I equate it with Luis Castillo. Louis was always, I bet you could look at him too. He walks more as a left-handed hitter, mainly because they're both more aggressive as right-handed hitters. So they're going to jump on pitches that they would take if they're up there left-handed.
There's the bunt. Coughlin gets to third, and Bonifacio is out on the sacrifice. That sets it up for Hanley.
Good job by Bonifacio. That's all he had to do, get it down. He didn't have to be real perfect with it. But he did his job. He got Coughlin over to third. And it's even more gratifying if you're Bonifacio. You get that job done. It's even more gratifying if now Hanley Ramirez picks up that runner from third.
Hanley's been able to do that this year. He was the finale of the 10-pitch, 3-strikeout inning by Hill to open the game.
Hanley leading the major leagues, hitting .410 with runners in scoring position. And we'll see if he went to school on his first at bat. Picked up some pointers on the curveball.
How about Brad Hopp and the rest of the Rockies, who have jump-started their season?
Maybe thinking curve, and he got the fastball.
1-1. With Jim Tracy and the Rockies. Just an incredible run, much like their finishing kick a couple years ago. And Hanley bangs it into center field, base hit.
Breaking ball creeps in. I'll look like a fastball, but Hanley stayed back because he's thinking breaking ball. Stayed back, went up the middle, very similar to Dan Uggla's base hit. And yes, it's gratifying for Bonifacio because Hanley got the run in. Now hitting .419 with runners in scoring position.
Hill on over to first. Talked to Andy Fox about Hill's move. And he said he's not a reader, which in base stealing terms is a lefty who can adjust his move as he starts in motion if you're running or not.
Yeah, some just cannot do that. They commit once they lift their leg. They know they're either going to go to first or go to the plate.
He said Andy Pettit's certainly one of the best. Jamie Moyer's good at it. The two terms he used were reader and a crosser. And crosser is in reference to the left-handed pitcher's right foot, and that if he crosses it behind the left, he's coming home. There are some guys who don't
they can just hang it out.
Yeah, they just hang out there, and then they come to the plate. So he's not a reader, and I think he's a little bit of a crosser.
Baseball terminology from Andy Fox.
Hanley's running. Pitch is in. The throw is in center. And Hanley's at third. And he's thinking like Bonifacio last night. Did you see that? As he got to third, he turned around and thought, you know what? I might as well check.
Well, after what happened to Felix Pierre, Adam Jones came and got this ball quickly. Second time that Wieters has unloaded a wild throw. But here comes Jones. And nicely done by Hanley. And both Hanley and Bonifacio last night picked up the ball right away, and they were able to get over to third.
Cantu's in the exact same spot that Hanley was. Infield's in. Runner at third.
Only difference, a 1-2 pitch.
Yes. So Cody, with his 2-run homer, has tied Cantu for the team lead in RBIs. Both sit at 45. Hanley's now at 43. And Dino. Hanley's still at third. Cantu hit it hard. Roberts looked good out there at shortstop.
Yeah, he is. He's getting comfortable because he's getting an opportunity to play consistently. And I know in talking to some of the Oriole coaches, they're certainly pleased with the job Robert Andino's done.
Here is Uggla. We touched upon it early in the series, the trade with Hayden Penn going from the Orioles to the Marlins. Penn is in AAA now. Oh, man. Uggla drills it deep. His name is Dan Uggla.
I was going to say that ball's in AA. It's on its way to Jacksonville. Wow. The team lead in RBIs continues to change as this game goes on.
Uggla's 15.
Rich Hill tried to sneak the fastball by Dan Uggla. You just cannot do that. And there it is.
You know, we're at a point now, the Marlins at 37 and 36. This is game number 74, so not quite at the halfway mark. But if you start doubling guys' numbers, there's some pretty impressive stuff. I mean, Uggla's now at 15 homers. These are all the guys with RBIs. You could have
look at that.
Four guys
in the 90s.
In the 90s.
And maybe a couple will get to 100.
Of course, it's easy at this point to do that, and that's just double numbers. But in baseball, real life, having as good a second half as you have in the first half is never easy with the wear and tear.
It's really true. If you look at hitters, you get the rare Albert Pujols who stay consistent first half and second half, but usually see an increase or a drop off in one of the halves. And I think Dan Uggla is going to increase because I think he's just starting to get hot.
And in his career, the second half has been a struggle. Uggla normally has faded in September and August. Kind of worn down a little bit. Dan had 9 home runs in the second half last year. Up the middle and picked up there by Hill. Toss to first. Cody is out, but the Marlins right back up on the scoreboard. Dan Uggla, 2-run shot, 5-0 lead. Unmistakable beat of the Aflac Duck waddling into heavy metal music, who holds the Orioles record for postseason games. You got to think that's a Brooks Robinson type.
It's got to be an everyday player, not a pitcher. Yeah, Brooks Robinson would be a good guess.
Paul Blair,
outstanding.
Mark Belanger,
good guess.
Boog Powell. Here's Wiggy, and he takes inside. Wigginton popped out.
But Don Buford or Davy Johnson.
And Wigginton continues to hit well in this ballpark. He's 1 for 2 in this game. He had a couple of hits in the first game. He's the type of guy, Tommy. I know he's got a 2-year contract, but if the Orioles are unable to make a run, and right now at 7 under, it looks like they might be overmatched in the East. He's the type of guy that come the end of July, if someone's looking for a versatile bat, he fits that bill.
He fills in and continues to hit. Remember last year, Wigginton in Houston, when Carlos Lee got hurt, went down with about a third of the season left. And Wigginton ended up hitting .285, had 23 home runs for the Astros. And that was playing left field. He'd never played much left field before. We've seen him at second, playing first base tonight. He played a little short the other night. He can play third.
Here's the 1-1. Melvin Moore bounced out back in the second. Sean West, the beneficiary of 5 runs. And a good live fastball there. Nice play in one of the suites. I don't know if that's our suite. So he's got the ball, and he's got the little certificate you get when you catch a foul ball. Soft pop up and a dive. Did he get it? Yes, Cody Ross. It almost started like Ross didn't think he could get there, then suddenly he shifted it into gear.
Yeah, it almost looked like you saw Cody looking at Hanley, thinking, well, maybe Hanley's going to get to this, but it was too deep for Hanley. And here comes Cody, outstretched arm, and look at that concentration. And on the heel of his glove, he didn't get that in the pocket. We've seen him make a couple of catches like that, and he's able to hang on.
He's going to have to make another one of those catches. Ross on his horse. Carroll's there too. BC runs it down.
Have no fear. BC's here. That ball sliced back toward Brett Carroll in right field.
Number 15, Hanley Ramirez.
And Ross,
a little limp in his gait. This is Cody going after that ball in right center. Might have been when he put the brakes on, when he heard Brett Carroll calling.
Wieters now takes a strike. Well, certainly is a guy that the Marlins can ill afford to lose.
You know how we talk about fly ball and ground ball pitchers. Sean West, more of a fly ball pitcher. And tonight, 8 fly ball outs already.
Ross gingerly out there in center field.
Well, think about it. He had to come in real hard. Then he had to move over. Right there. A little gimp right there. So after running in hard, then going into right center.
Carroll,
thank goodness it wasn't hit to Cody.
Makes the catch. Ross kind of wobbles his way towards the dugout. Marlins on top, 5-0. Go Honda, still no Sharks. And by Heineken, give yourself a good name. Rich Hill, the Baltimore lefty, who was giving up a couple of long balls. A home run in the second, a 2-run shot to Cody Ross. Dan Uggla with a 2-run homer in the third. Brett Carroll leads it off. Just started thinking between innings as we saw Cody Ross limp into the dugout. if the Marlins were to lose Ross for a short period of time, you have to find somebody to play center field. Obviously, Brett Carroll has those skills.
Yeah, he's kind of flexing that right knee.
Carroll hits a high pop-up. Mora doesn't see it. Now he still doesn't see it. Now he finds it. Twice he looked up asking for help. And that shows you what type of instincts a major league player has. He saw it off the bat, so he had an idea where it was going to be.
Yeah, and we're at that twilight time where an infielder and outfielder can lose that ball that's high in the air. That's why at this time of night, when you're in the outfield, if you're tracking down a ball in a gap, you know how you'll see an outfielder take his eye off the ball and kind of run to the spot? It's tough to do that at this time because you might not pick it up the second time.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sean West is 0 for 1. He has struck out. Have you chosen an Oriole in our Aflac trivia question yet? As West swings and misses, I
have a good guess.
One, two. Hill gets a strikeout. All right, here comes the duck.
I'm going to go with Don Buford. Wow, little outfield.
I'll go with Brooks.
All right.
Postseason games played. It's Belanger.
Yeah, we had his name out there. Mark Belanger.
Fastball from Hill is a strike to Chris Coghlan. He doubled in the third. The Marlins picked up 3 in the third. Coughlin's double was followed by Bonifacio's sacrifice and a Hanley single, then a 2-run blast by Uggla. John Smoltz has given up another run, and Washington leads Boston 5-0. No doubt disappointing a near-capacity crowd in D.C., most of them Red Sox fans.
Yeah, we know how that is.
And you know, it's frustrating for Marlin fans sometimes when the Met fans are here, and there's lots of them, and when the Yankee fans were here and the Philly fans and all that. But we've seen that in Atlanta. Lots of Yankee fans.
A lot of Yankee fans in Atlanta for that
Lots
series.
of Boston fans in Washington, D.C.
By the way, I think you mentioned it earlier, the last time Smoltz pitched was against the Marlins, and he blew a save.
Yeah, remember that was in Atlanta early last year. He had some issues, and Bobby Cox, almost as a last resort, said, well, maybe we'll try to slide him back into the bullpen, and he can work through his arm issues that way. Coghlan cuts and misses. 2 punch-outs by Hill to finish off the Fish in the 4th. Going to the 5th. 5-0.
How are you?
How you doing?
Well, the two lefties have fared differently here, Cookie.
Well, they sure have. Sean West has done a great job so far, and then they haven't been able to do absolutely nothing. Our offense is not hot. It's on fire.
En fuego.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, the way it started, it looked like it was going to be the total opposite.
Hey, Cookie, I had a question for you, too. I know because we've seen him over the last few years, you're happy to see Robert Andino get a little playing time.
Well, I think that he definitely can play shortstop, no question about it, and he has an opportunity with the Orioles. I don't think he could have done that here with Hanley Ramirez, the way he has, offensively and defensively played. But Andino can play for any club every day, and he'll do a good job for the Orioles.
Yeah, I agree. I think Andino's in the big leagues for a nice stretch. I think he's going to have a nice career because he's so versatile.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit in spring training. You could put him in the outfield if needed. He can play second base. So he could, all of a sudden, if he realizes this point in his career, he can have a nice career.
If he can hit 250, 260 with the defense and the speed he has and a good arm, I think he definitely will stay here quite a few years.
And he's athletic enough where he can play basically anywhere in the infield.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, guys, have a good night.
You too, guys.
Rich Hill's at the plate. And West comes in and gets a strike. Completely different Sean West from his last start.
Yeah, you used the term, I think, overwhelmed in the game against the Yankees. And he could have been. He didn't show it outwardly, and he didn't talk about it after the game, but I think so. 4 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, pitching against the Yankees in front of a whole lot of people. You're pitching against a lineup of guys that you read about all the time.
But certainly a good experience, and it was fun to talk to him last night. He's an interesting cat. I mean, and now he's drawing some interest as he walks back to the mound. Uggla's following him to make sure that he's okay. And so West back up on the mound, looks like he's fine. But an interesting interview last night with his music background and talking about playing the drums, how it translates to pitching.
A little rhythm. I think also interesting the story that we've read and that he has told, how he wanted to quit baseball when he was in high school. And I think a lot of people think that major leaguers are just kids who've been gung-ho about baseball their whole life. Well, he had other interests, and his dad certainly kind of turned him around and said, hey, you're gifted with this ability to pitch, and he got him back into baseball, and here he is in the major leagues.
He's got brothers who are good, a younger brother who's a pitcher, and another brother who is a corner outfielder in the minor leagues.
Sounds like he might have a little power.
Yes. I'd like to see him on the drums. I think that could be in an upcoming feature, maybe a special guest appearance on the Coughlin and Carroll show. Markakis has doubled and walked. Off of West's glove, and that's going to be a base hit. I'm not sure if Hanley gets there or not, but West's reaction was to put a glove on it.
Every once in a while you'll see a pitcher pull back. Let's see if... Yeah, I'm with you. I think maybe Hanley gets to it, but I'm not sure. Either way, it wouldn't have been an easy play. Markakis runs pretty well, and Hanley would have been behind the bag at second. So now he's going to have to go after Adam Jones with a couple men out and a couple men on base.
Number 10, the center fielder, Adam Jones.
So Jones, we talked about the numbers that Hanley Ramirez has with runners in scoring position. Best in the National League. Jones, one of the best in the American League. Check swing. Uggla. Hanley out number 3. Out of the 5th is Sean West. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Special guest appearance by Cassie, our floor director. Getting in the spirit of things tonight, Bonifacio takes inside a breaking ball, and it's 1-0. Bonifacio, Hanley, and Cantu. Bonifacio struck out in the first sacrifice bunt. Puts it in the air. Markakis makes a catch. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, thanks, guys. I think it was the key play of the game last night. If you look at one play, and that was Emilio Bonifacio's really individual effort to not only beat out this base hit in the 7th. It was a one-run game. That, remember what he did going around the bases, and I talked to him about it. Stealing second base here, and then the quick reaction to get up. And watch this little look here. This one right here, as he goes to third, he's already thinking if he throws it softly, if he doesn't take this play strongly, I'm going. Soft toss to second by PA. Bonifacio slides in. He told me he learned it from Jose Offerman, who used to be, of course, the big leagues for a long time. 2 years ago in Licey in the winter leagues in the Dominican Republic, he said actually there was another guy on base who only stopped at third, and Offerman said, you got to look with speed like you have for that kind of play, anticipate it before you even get to third base. And he did it to perfection. It was a big run on the game last night, minute 4-2.
Aggressive baseball, and it was nice to see a play like that for the Marlins rather than an opponent having success on the base paths. Uh-oh. Hanley goes down after that swing.
We've been talking tonight about right-handers especially staying back and thinking up the middle against Rich Hill. Dan Uggla did that his first time up on that curveball. He didn't roll over, stays back with his hands. He was able to drive it up the middle. Hanley gets a fastball in, stays back, and takes it right back up the middle. That was a big base hit, and drove in a run. So the right-handers have had a pretty good approach tonight against Rich Hill. Not to mention Uggla's home run and Cody Ross's home run.
Hanley climbed back in the box carefully. Seemed to be favoring his left leg or ankle.
Well, we saw Brian Roberts foul the ball off his front leg.
Hill thought he had a strikeout there. It's 2-2.
When Hill was coming up in minor leagues in 05, he was coming up with the Cubs organization. Played on 2 or 3 different teams with Ricky Nolasco.
That's a fair ball, and Hanley, running well, is going to get to second. So the leg's just fine.
That'll help any little sting. You hit a ball that hard, and then you get a chance to leg it out to second base. All of a sudden, that sting goes away. It's our checkers double of the game. Hanley with a couple of nice swings tonight, a 7-game hitting streak, and having a terrific homestand.
Just by Mora. So Hanley's in scoring position. The Marlins trying to go 2 over, trying to win 5 in a row, and try to make it 9 of 12.
Just the fact that the Marlins are 1 game over. The last time they were 1 game over was May 12th when they were 17 and 16. May 10th they were 17 and 15. But May was a month that the Marlins would like to forget. They were 9 and 20 for the month of May after a 14 and 8 start in April.
I think it was Cantu himself the other night that addressed the 2 months, May and June, and how the ball club has momentum right now.
And right now they're 14 and 8 here in June. There's Mark Hendrickson. We saw Hendrickson last night.
Boy, Cantu gives that one a ride. If it stays fair, it's gone. It is foul.
About halfway, Jorge Cantu was thinking home run. Then he kind of stayed near home plate because he knew it was either going to be out or foul. Took a look and saw it hook right toward the end. Right about there, he thinks he's got a shot, and now it's hooking.
But Rich Hill certainly isn't afraid to throw his curveball. He has thrown it an awful lot tonight. Cantu, boy, he pulled that inside fastball right back into the same corner Hanley went. Cantu's got a double. Hanley will score. Fish up 6-0.
When the hands are back and you're not rolling that top hand over, you can keep that ball that's thrown in that area fair. If you roll over, you hit it foul, you hit it good, but look how his hands are, and that keeps that ball fair just over the third base bag. It's another run in, and now Jorge Cantu is the RBI leader on the club. I think the lead's changed like 3 times in this game.
It's been a wild chase. Uggla was at 45. Ross got to 45, both with 2-run homers. The phone rings. Alan Dunn, the bullpen coach, picks it up. Hendrickson looks like he's ready, and Dave Tremblay is on his way out. And so the former junior college coach, the star player at Brockport State, Stan Van Gundy's alma mater, Tremblay is out, and he's going to go to the bullpen and get Hendrickson. Exit, Rich Hill. Art Maroney called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck goes bad. Who you gonna call?
An unexpected close from Dan Meyer. Of course, with Matt Lindstrom on the disabled list, Leo Nunez injured. Freddie turned to the lefty. Meyer, who picked up his first Major League win this year, picks up his first Major League save. And as we speculated last night, our Geico quote confirms, in Meyer's words, I've started in my career, I've set up, I've come in the fifth, and that ninth inning is different no matter how you shake it. Here is Hendrickson. And Mark throws a strike to a hot Uggla. Dan's got 6 hits in this series, 2 tonight, including a 2-run homer.
I think Dan Meyer, going back to his collegiate days, had only finished 2 games. He had 1 complete game in the minor leagues, and he had finished the game in college.
Uggla rolls over on the changeup. Mora on the run. He's out. Not by much, but Uggla is out.
But alertly, Jorge Cantu, what you do as a runner at second, you keep your eye on that third baseman. As soon as he unloads the throw, Cantu took off, and he was able to get over third. And that was a bang-bang play. Good play by Melvin Moore.
Ronnie Paulino is 1 for 2. 2 down. Another run sitting out there. Hendrickson, opening day starter for the Fish last year, drops a curveball in for a strike. Mark pitched last night. He pitched a scoreless inning in relief.
Remember that stretch that the Marlins had, in particular in Boston? Just the horrific run with runners in scoring position. They just were not getting hits. In this series alone, Freddie's team is 10 for 28. 357 with runners in scoring position.
You know, the Orioles have the only tandem that can say they guarded both LeBron James
and Michael Jordan.
Hendrickson in the NBA against Jordan, and
That's
Reimold
right.
in left
That's right.
against LeBron James in high school. It's inside. Bowling Green product. Burke Badenhop. Reimold did not want to sing that fight song. You could tell. But apparently the Hopper persuaded him.
He's very convincing.
And of course there are two people that we work with very closely who are also Bowling Green alums. Nancy Olson, our good friend at the Community Foundation, and our executive producer Ned Tate.
See, our next quest, we need to get Ned Tate and Nancy
to sing. We did hear Nancy sing, right?
Nancy is fine with it. We need to get we need to put Ned on the spot.
Well, I don't think he would say yes to you or to me, but if we put Hopper on the job,
give Hopper the mic.
Paulino sends that to the deepest part of the park. Let's enjoy 6-0 Fish.
Ziggy Zumba Zumba Zay, roll along BG Warriors and roll along and fight for BGSU. That's it.
Reds. St. Pete tomorrow night. Rays and Marlins. Big game. James Shields against Josh Johnson. Great matchup. And then Sunday, Tommy and I will come out of the bullpen and we'll work. And then Monday, we're back here. Marlins Nationals for a Monday and a Tuesday.
A couple of nice lefties in that game on Sunday that you and I will have, Rich. Andrew Miller. It's like North Carolina against Vanderbilt. Andrew Miller and David Price.
Little ACC SEC showdown. Strike to Wigginton. He went to North Carolina, Asheville, which is one of the most beautiful places you'll find a campus up in Asheville. When Wigginton was a shortstop and a college player, he knew that locally there was a great high school outfielder coming up named Cameron Maben. So he knew who Cameron Maben was before Maben was drafted, signed with the Tigers, and then traded to the Marlins. Two and two. There's this, look at that, 360 in this ballpark. And I asked him, I said, what is it about this park? He says, you know, it seems like the mountain is like 70 feet away.
Yet you talk to certain pitchers who love pitching off this mound.
Ball's out of play. Cantu over to the rail.
Well, Wigginton's been consistent. 22 or more home runs each of the last 3 years. So he may not always be a regular, but he finds his way in the lineup.
Fouls it back. You could compare him to a guy like Wes Helms, although I think Helms is probably better defensively right now than Wigginton, and Wigginton is a better hitter than Helms.
Yeah, and Wigginton, you probably could put him at more positions. Not saying he's going to win a Gold Glove at any of them, but he could play more positions.
That one gets to the screen. All right, Wigginton's at first. The Hoppers in the bullpen tonight.
You want to be here when we take on the Washington Nationals Monday, June 29th through Wednesday, July 1st. Look in Tuesday's Miami Herald for the 2 for Tuesday coupon. And Wednesday is camp day at 12:10. Call 1-877-MARLINS or visit marlins.com. Marlins baseball, it's where you want to be.
See, another thing about Badenhop's performance tonight, almost everyone who does this reads our promos for us. That hit him, I think, may have clipped Mora. And so Mora's aboard. Everyone that does the promos puts sunglasses on so they can read the card and you don't see their eyes move. Well, the Hopper said, no, those sunglasses.
He wanted to go right at it. But Tim Wood looks like he's starting to get loose. First two men reaching base, a walk, and then Mora just barely nicked by a pitch. Ball really doesn't change directions much because Ronnie Paulino is able to catch it. Just clipped him.
Mark Wiley's out there trying to settle down west and buy some time for Wood. As we told you last night, because of the injury to Lindstrom and Nunez is not on the disabled list, but he's not available tonight. The Marlins have Tim Wood and Chris LaRue. LaRue's thrown a total of 1 inning in the big leagues. Wood has not thrown a pitch in the big leagues. Freddie told us last night he can't wait for a soft landing for this pair, because the Marlins really haven't had many soft landing games this whole month, even though they've played well. So you can't sit around and wait for a time to bring them in. You got to bring them in when you need a pitcher.
But obviously, as Freddie said, you'd like that time to be, as you pointed out, a soft landing, a game that's you got 4 or 5 run cushion.
This may be as soft a landing as you'll find. Reimold is up. Reimold made quite a splash when he arrived in the big leagues. His first big league home run was against Mariano Rivera at Yankee Stadium. By the way, the other night we have a few more emails in our inbox that we wanted to get to tonight, but one of them challenged our contention that Camden Yards is a great place for home runs. And so I did a little math today. Baltimore, Oriole Park at Camden Yards is third right now in the American League in home runs per game. Good sharp breaking ball.
Boy, some nice pitches. Back-to-back changeups, and then the nice breaking ball to give Reimold. So he was sitting on a fastball looking for some heat. He got 2 changeups in a row, and then the slider.
If you measure ballparks by home runs per game this year, the leader in the American League is Yankee Stadium. 3.43 homers a game in the new Yankee Stadium. Ground ball. Hanley might be 2. Bare hand. Uggla turns it. How sweet is that? 6-4-3. And West gets through the 6th with a little help from his middle infield.
There's the catch, turn, and throw. And boy, that's a pitcher's best friend, that double play. Remember, the inning started with a walk and a hit batter.
Our Toyota Trend, that double play combination. The Marlins lead the National League with 12 double plays turned since, I suspect that would be June 19th. But that is our Toyota Trend. Here's Cody Ross. Now, we've watched Ross run the last couple of innings, and he hasn't had to turn it on yet. So there's no telling if he's still sore from that sequence a couple innings ago where he dove and made a catch and then ran into the gap and came up limping. This will be a test. Andino to first and Ross up the line pretty gingerly.
Yeah, it looked like he was running under control. And, you know, sometimes you have to play that way. If you want to keep yourself in the game, help your team, and yeah, it's a routine ground ball, you stay under control. You don't go crazy and re-injure what he may have injured on that diving catch or moving into right center.
Hendrickson bounces one up to Brett Carroll. Anyways, to finish the home run stories, that was one of the emails. We had noted that playing Baltimore, you got a chance to hit home runs. Well, Yankee Stadium at 3.43 leads the American League. Texas is second. BC in the center field, base hit. Baltimore is third right now. The Orioles and their ballpark, Camden Yards, Oriole Park at Camden Yards, 2.50 home runs per game. That's third in the American League. Philadelphia leads the National League at 3 homers per game. Cincinnati and Milwaukee are tied for second, 2.3. And this place, Landshark Stadium, is 8th in the National League, 2.0. Toughest places to hit home runs.
Let me guess, and I haven't seen your list.
Okay.
I'm going to guess San Diego.
No.
I'm going to guess Pittsburgh's probably tough.
No.
Wow, help me out.
Line drive, left field. And a nice catch by Reimold. This is a case, Tommy, where statistics, I think, reflect how the ballpark plays. But I think this is also a reflection of the team that's in there right now. Atlanta, just 1.14 homers per game in Atlanta this year.
By the way, Jeremy Hermida pinch hitting for Sean West, hit that line drive to left field.
So, the Braves have been looking for guys to hit home runs in their outfield, at first base.
And Citi Field's got to be tough.
Yes. The toughest in the American League, Oakland. Kansas City is 13th. Coughlin takes a strike. We had a few other emails we wanted to get to that we didn't get to last night. Many of them calling for the Coughlin-Carroll team to replace Logan and JJ.
I think our single female viewers like that team also.
We had and this folds in nicely to tonight. Andy in Miami sending us his all Bowling Green alum team, which includes Oral Hershiser, Chris Hoyles, formerly of the Orioles, and Roger McDowell, who made a brief cameo on the show last night. Coughlin goes down swinging. Mark Hendrickson, a scoreless inning in relief here in the 6th. Burke Badenhop, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a round of applause. Outstanding golf clap for the Hopper. He's a He reads our promos tonight, did a fine job, and now Tim Wood will make his major league debut.
Well, there's no question, always an exciting moment for any player, pitcher, hitter.
He almost gets Charlie Brown on his first big league pitch. He'll remember that out.
Well, all of a sudden he realizes, hey, the defense knows how to play these guys up here. And Dan Uggla in a perfect spot. Tim Wood, good sinker and slider, had some good numbers at AAA. And he ducks out of the way and the ball slices back to Dan Uggla. 19 games in AAA this year, a 1.19 ERA.
Wood misses outside. He made a big jump from last year as the Orioles send up Oscar Salazar as a pinch hitter. Wood last year opened the year in Jupiter. Pitched well there. Chris Ray is in the bullpen. Hanley has to go in the hole. And he throws out Salazar by a whisker. Coors Light 6th inning. Time now for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Let's do that freeze. Right there. Little concentration. Great catch. Big stolen base. The Frostproof Coors Light Freeze Can. Two outs. Roberts. And Wood misses down low. Well, important that a guy like Tim Wood can have success in AAA and then come up here and have a little success, because the Marlins need arms. You cannot afford, in this day and age, to carry guys in the bullpen who can't get people out. And even though Wood doesn't have experience in the big leagues, he has been able to get AAA guys out.
And right now, here's his opportunity to get some experience and help out that bullpen.
Roberts walks. So a two-out walk. Markakis comes up.
And Tim Wood, certainly not a high draft round pick, a 44th round pick back in 2002.
By the way, that John Smoltz start went 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts. Washington leads 7-1 in the 7th.
Understand the hammer. Josh Willingham, a couple of hits, a double off Smoltz.
That's a base hit to right. So a walk and a hit. Markakis has 3 hits tonight.
He came into this game, of course he hadn't seen the Marlins a whole lot, but 1 for 11 in his career against the Fish, and 3 hits tonight, a 3 for 3 night.
Adam Jones hits it hard. Hanley's there to Uggla in time. Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
Marlins season ticket holder, sits over here. Been looking at first baseman Ty Wigginton and the first base umpire. So you be the judge. Wally Bell, right there. You know, a little burly. And there's Wiggy. Ty Wigginton. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Wiggy and Wally Bell. They are attached in more ways than one tonight's game. I was asking Wes Helms the other day. I always thought Wes had that little bit of Kurt Russell. That Kurt Russell look. What do you think?
Snake Plipskin.
Well, we always say Rich loves to hear Wes interview, just to hear Wes talk.
I could listen to Wes Helms talk about baseball all day, just like that country drawl that he's got.
The baseball knowledge that he has.
Doesn't waste a lot of words.
And I like his approach, too. He's got good leadership. You know, he was the one the other day getting to 500. Says, great, we're back. But, you know, we want to go a lot further than that. And I like to hear that, guys. I like to hear the team have confidence in each other, that they're not just trying to get to 500 or get a game or two over, but the way this pitching has been, the way they play, they feel that they can contend. Smaller market, lower payroll, forget all that. They're not worried about it. I like to hear that from the team I follow.
Well, that's the way they feel. They feel and they want to get to the playoffs, get to postseason.
6-0 lead here. A chance to go 2 over. A chance to win 5 in a row.
And it's something, just to continue on that thought, it's something that baffles many people who follow baseball and look at the Marlins from afar. They can't understand how they can continue to have some success, play good baseball, when there is a turnover of players, but they continue to put terrific teams out on the field. And right now, this good run has started with good starting pitching.
I don't mean to push your buttons here because it's a 6-0 game. But I did catch, just in all the media hype and everything about the Yankees series, there was a piece in one of the New York papers. Ground ball, base hit, and to left field. Bonifacio's got a hit, and I'm not sure which one it was, but it was a good piece on kind of Joe Girardi and Freddie Gonzalez, and it was comparing the two managers. And there was one sentence, though, that jumped out, and it said it was transitioning from their description of Girardi to Freddie, and it said, while Gonzalez hasn't had the same success that Girardi had in 06, he still has kept the team somewhat competitive.
He's had better success.
I know.
You just pushed my button.
I know. I said, wait a minute. Freddie won 84 games last year.
He had better success.
He had a better record than the Dodgers did last year. But
just goes to show you, that's why I don't read that stuff. It was it was one of those rags in New York.
No, I didn't need it.
No, you read the New York Times, though. You're okay.
Pandora's box has been thrown wide open. Hanley takes the strike, and it's 0-2. But you're right about the point you were making, that people around baseball are at times marvel at how the Marlins, with the low payroll, have been able to stay competitive. And today, you know who's
he's on and off the bandwagon. Yeah, that's all right.
Well, remember though, he was with the Marlins last year.
Yes,
and that's Regis Philbin. Regis has been taking notice, and Regis, if you're watching, hope you're enjoying the game, and I hope the Tommy Bahama shirt that the folks at Tommy Bahama in Las Olas sent up your direction fits. Remember, he wanted a blue one, just like we have on tonight.
I understand Regis gave the Marlins some props today, so that was good.
Always good to see Regis.
Hey, let's raise that average. Let's go.
A swing and a miss. Hanley goes down. Let's bring you up to speed. If you just happened by, our game summary, 6-0 Fish.
Well, you've missed some good things. Sean West had a solid outing tonight. Picked up a couple of strikeouts in his 6 innings. Great defense. Cody Ross, how about that 6-4-3 double play started by Hanley Ramirez. Cody Ross continues his hot streak of home run. Hanley stays back, base hit up the middle. Dan Uggla, a shot, a home run. Jorge Cantu drives in. Hanley Ramirez with a double. The RBI team leader has changed 3 or 4 times in this game. So who's the current leader now?
I think Cantu
with 46.
By just 1. Uggla's at 45. Ross is at 45. The Phillies are losing tonight. Tampa Bay 6-4 in the 6th in St. Pete. And obviously good news for the Fish. The Mets won today. They're a game back. The Marlins are 2 back. Cantu's got himself another base knock. Couple hits for Cantu.
Yeah, and Rich, it's good to see Jorge Cantu. He had a little spell, some thumb, some wrist problems where he wasn't quite swinging it the way he did early in the year. He's right back in that groove now with some good swings tonight.
Dan Uggla now to face Chris Ray. This was a Rich Hill start. He went 4 1/3. Mark Hendrickson did a nice job at inning in 2/3 of scoreless relief. Uggla takes a strike. Ben Zobrist, 16th home run. Wow, for the Rays. Willie Ibar has homered as well. What was the nickname that Joe Madden gave him? Was it Zorilla?
Heard a great interview with Zobrist. I've got to do a little research on this for our game Sunday. That his wife has a CD. She's a very good singer, and he comes to the plate to her song.
I'm not quite sure how to follow that. Uggla bounces into a double play.
Well, her CD is played on the PA.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
what song he goes to the plate to.
I got you now. big leagues.
Boy, our crack staff really had to dig deep to get some research on that.
Who thought there would be a Kechi Yabu sighting on our show? You can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. Tommy and I are trying to do just that. Stay in the game right now. Wigginton swings and misses. Wigginton 1 for 2. Mora and Reimold. This is inning number 2 in Tim Wood's big league career. The good news here for the Marlins, if they can keep this cushion and keep it a 5-run lead, they won't have to call upon Dan Meyer, who's worked in 2 consecutive games.
Yeah, we may see if Tim Wood gives Freddie a couple of good innings.
Cody Ross comes in, moving much better than he was early in the game. And if Tim Wood actually can finish this game.
If he doesn't finish, we could maybe see Chris LaRue.
Well, if he finishes the game, he could pick up his first big league save.
That's true, 3 innings. Out of Tucson, Arizona, Tim Wood. And my counter to those who think that 3-inning save's bogus, my counter to that is it saves the bullpen. Whatever the situation may be, if it's a 15-2 game and you have somebody come in and pitch the final 3 innings, that helps your bullpen. So that it actually means more than a hold.
So who are you referencing there? Bill and Ted or Wayne and Garth? Not so bogus. Bonifacio. Two down. Reimold's coming up. You know, defensively, Bonifacio at third base he's a work in progress. There are some things when you watch him play every day that you like. One of them is his range.
He's got terrific range.
Yeah.
He has middle infielder range.
If he can solve his throwing issues, he could be an above average third baseman, because we saw him knock a ball down the other day. He plays the short ball, the bunt, or the little squibbler up the line very well. Goes to his left, goes to his right. The speed and the range he's got. It's when he gets in a hurry and has to rush his throw, that's where he gets in trouble. That is the first 1, 2, 3 inning for the Marlins tonight. Cantu, Home Depot, doing more on defense.
And we like when we have to make choices for the Home Depot play of the game, because we had choices to choose from tonight.
Ronnie Paulino, Cody Ross, Brett Carroll scheduled. Chris Ray. Paulino tonight, 1 for 3. Off of Ray, and it knocks his glove right off. And that's the Charlie Brown move. But of course, Charlie Brown would lose a lot more than just his glove.
Ronnie Paulino picks up hit number 2 tonight, directly back at Ray. And see where it hits. Catches the glove, knocks the glove right off his hand. Paulino with 2 hits, Uggla with 2, Cantu has a couple, Ramirez with 2. And Coughlin and Brett Carroll each have 1, so everybody in the lineup has at least 1 hit tonight.
Cody takes breaking ball for a strike.
Chris LaRue getting loose. We thought we might see him. Looks like we will.
Cody, 2-run homer, has bounced out twice. Pair of 2-run homers, Uggla and Ross. A solid start from Sean West.
You remember the Phillies jumped off to a 4-0 lead in Tampa. And right now the Rays have a 6-4 lead over Philadelphia in the 6th inning.
Washington is spanking Boston 9-1. That's in the 8th. The Yankees are beating the Braves 8-6. But that one's got a ways to go. It's bottom of the 5th. A-Rod is homered in that game. Into center field. Cody's got another hit. 2 tonight for Ross.
The hot streak continues. Good at bat, solid swings. 7 for 13 in the series, and it looks like he's running a little bit better too.
Brett Carroll takes a knee-high strike. BC is 1 for 2. Remember, we really didn't get to see a whole lot of Carroll last year after he launched himself into the right field wall. The tantalizing thing about Carroll is if he could develop at the plate, he's a Gold Glove caliber outfielder. There's no question about that. So if he could hit enough to be a regular, then you'd be able to see his defense night in and night out.
Obviously, he doesn't get the exposure because of lack of playing time. And the Marlins, certainly we know he's the best defensive outfielder. I talked to Andy Fox about that, and Andy said he might have the best arm in the league. Now he has 2 hits.
And he's swinging a hot bat.
So everybody in the lineup with 2 hits, Bonifacio has 1. He's 1 for 3. That's how the hitting's been spread out tonight.
Now, last year when Brett Carroll was here, he was trying to make an impression, hustling all the time. This was the play where he severely injured that right shoulder. Going after a fly ball. And that essentially cut his season short.
Chris Coughlin with a chance to get his 2nd hit. Oh, it's Ross Close. Cox is up next. I see lefty with a nice swing, and I think Cox.
Don't get nervous.
You know, one thing about winning a Gold Glove for a team that doesn't get a lot of exposure. Nowadays, with the exposure you get on the MLB Network, on ESPN, or on Fox Sports, the defensive highlight has become much more important, more of a programming staple. Thus, if you were a guy like Carroll or a guy in a smaller market, you get exposure if you make big plays night in and night out.
We've seen a lot of Cody Ross this year.
Brian Bass in the bullpen. We'll have to check in with our buddy from the Fielding Bible in August or September. You get his read on the all the different numbers on Marlin defenders. When we had him on first month of the season, he mentioned how the Marlins had improved defensively, and he talked about Ross and about Carroll and how their range factor and all those other statistical measurements were all pretty impressive.
Even Cantu at first base.
Yes. Glode swings and misses. Now Coughlin comes up.
I was looking at some box scores today. It's always fun to check in on Miguel Cabrera every once in a while. Hit a home run yesterday for the Tigers, hitting 332 with 15 home runs, 46 RBIs. And the Tigers with a 5-game lead going into play today in that American League Central Division.
That's a division where only one team is over 500, and that's the Tigers. Wigginton's going to come home, and that's it. So the Orioles choke the run off at the plate. Here's Bonifacio. Little looper, that falls base hit. Ross will score. Carroll is stopped.
Yeah, it's funny. Bonifacio came into this game a better hitter from the right side, yet he's come back, and his 2 hits tonight have been batting left-handed. So I think that's a good sign. He's going to see a lot more activity hitting left-handed. So good swings the last couple of times up with base hits the other way.
Hanley Ramirez now, who has hit 2 grand slams this season. This was Tuesday night. Now Cody Ross has hit 3 this year, and Hanley's hit 2. Hanley has hit it deep, and he's got his 3rd grand slam. Boy, spin the big wheel. Hanley's got 3, Cody's got 3, and the Marlins are on quite a roll right now.
How about Hanley Ramirez in this series? 2 grand slams. Yeah, I would do that too. 2 grand slams, 11 RBIs in this 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, Baltimore, that's Hanley. You don't get to see him too much.
No, they don't. Crowd wants a curtain call. All right. Hanley comes out. Orioles are going to make a pitching change. Here's our Marooney called to the bench.
Truck goes bad. Who you gonna call? Marooney!
Brian Bass just sent a fastball between the legs of Jorge Cantu.
Yeah, you know, if it's a intended pitch, it's a cheap shot because he isn't going to have to hit, and the Orioles aren't going to have to see the Marlins for a while.
I'm not sure it's an intended pitch.
And it might not have been. It might not have been.
Hanley with a curtain call. His 3rd grand slam. So Hanley is now tied for the Marlins record with Cody Ross for grand slams in a season. Also Jeff Conine and Bobby Bonilla.
And Hanley in this series alone, 6 for 13, 2 grand slams, 11 RBIs.
This is one of the first laughers the Marlins have had in a while. They've played a slew of 1-run games.
Last time the Marlins scored this many runs was their 11-3 win in Toronto.
Cantu just keeps hitting. He's got 3 in the ballgame. We told you all night long that the RBI lead started out with Cantu on top. Uggla tied him. Ross tied him. Cantu drove in a run to get the lead back.
To regain it.
But then Hanley has just come smashing through with his 5 RBIs. He's got 47 now to lead everybody. Unless, of course, Uggla hits a 2-run shot,
which kind of gives you an idea of the year Albert Pujols is having. Pujols with 70 RBIs coming into play tonight. 26 home runs, leading the league in that department as well.
Uggla takes down low.
Hanley moving up on that batting average list as well. Came into the game 7th in the National League.
Uggla cracks one to right center field. Jones is there, and he makes the catch. His name is Hanley Ramirez, and he now has 3 grand slams this year. Yeah, that's a marquee matchup tomorrow night.
Bus is leaving.
The game is on Fox Sports Florida. It's tomorrow night. 7:38 first pitch. I'm sure Todd Callis will be by with an entertaining Rays Live at 7 o'clock.
You know, one note, I wanted to mention this earlier, but the Marlins started pounding out base hits and scoring runs. We're getting close to the All-Star game, which is in St. Louis. And they always have the Futures game, Young Stars. And the Marlins, Mike Stanton will represent the Marlins in the Futures game. And Marlins AAA manager Edwin Rodriguez will serve as a coach for the World team.
Stanton will be the youngest player on that Futures team on either side. It's a great segment of Frank Fort's award-winning Inside the Marlins scouting. The recent episode where he talks to the scout that signed Stanton. That one into center field. Cody Ross is over. BC there as well. Ross squeezes. And he's got the first out. And Dino endures an 0 for 4 night.
Looks like Felix Pierre will step in at bat.
You know, was it an emailer that informed us a couple weeks ago that the powers that be here at Landshark Stadium do not allow brooms into the ballpark?
Yes. Well, we did ask David Sampson, Marlins team president, one night. Greg Zahn's going to pinch hit for Roberts.
Goes after the first pitch. Lobs it down the left field line. It's foul.
Greg Zahn in his 15th year as a major leaguer.
Part of the 97 World Championship team. That line drive is going to be fair, and into the corner it goes. Zahn will chase home a couple with PA scoring. So the Orioles have their first 2 runs of the night. And Greg Zahn picks up a couple of RBIs.
And that's always tough to see with Chris LaRue coming in, just trying to nail things down. You'd like to have him go out there and have a clean inning, but that's not going to happen. So the young guy from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, getting his feet wet, now trying to get a couple more outs.
Guy from Mississauga faces a guy from Woodstock.
You can call the game fair now, refs.
Woodstock, Georgia. In your day, if you were from Woodstock, that was a whole different meaning.
Oh, yeah. If you said you were from Woodstock, you'd check their eyes. But I know right where Woodstock, Georgia is, outside Atlanta.
Coughlin isn't going to get this one either. And that bounces out. It's going to be a double for Markakis, his 4th hit. It scores Zahn. Mark Wiley said he picked up the phone and then realized he had to go out to the mound, and so he handed it to Carlos Tosca and said, "You tell him." Our Prestige Audi moment is brought to you by Prestige Audi. Just 2 minutes south of Aventura Mall, 18667 My Audi today. Grand Slam. How about another one for Hanley Ramirez?
Here's the tough one. Here's the decision, and what makes it tough right now. You have a 25-year-old out there just trying to get acclimated. You don't really want to bring someone else in, but on the other hand, you don't want to leave Chris LaRue out there and give up many more hits and runs. So because of that, Brian Sanchez starts to get loose.
And some at home might say, well, why take Tim Wood out in the first place? And the reason is because you want him available, maybe not tomorrow night, but you want him available on Saturday. Ground ball up the middle, Hanley to his left, spins around, makes that play and gets the out. And Wood was not pitching 2 or 3 innings in AAA, so he this year is not used to throwing that many pitches. So if Freddie had left Wood in to go 3 innings, he could have done that, and Wood probably would have finished the game.
Which brings up a good thing for us to talk about, a topic.
Right.
It's not really a button-pushing thing, but I think that the Marlins organization, I think a lot of organizations, need to look into that more and have kids in the minor leagues who aren't starting games throw more innings. There are too many one-inning guys down in the minor leagues, and when they get up to the big leagues, they can only pitch 1 inning. I think organizations need to do that. Plus, the more innings you pitch, crazy concept, but the more you learn how to pitch.
Hanley will finish it off. And the Marlins win this ball game. They sweep the Orioles. They've won 5 in a row. And the Fish, if they can get a little help from the Rays tonight, can bring themselves within 1 game of first place in the East. Hanley with a grand slam, 5 RBIs.